Hi, so I am Abhinav and I am currently a data scientist with almost 4 years of experience in the field of data science and machine learning. So in this current video, I'll be giving you the solution of a problem statement called the multi-label product classification, which will be solving a problem called the to identify the multiple products which are present in a particular text. So this situation occurs when a particular user is through the Twitter or through person writes that I want a credit card and a debit card at Twitter or the Instagram or the Facebook, and those are the short comments, and that need to be identified that which of the product segment a particular user is talking about. Likewise, it happens in the various help desk channels also, where a particular person or is querying about a particular thing, and a particular which may be a which corresponds to a particular product segment, and we want to identify that which particular topic he is talking about. And there can be multiple topics in that same text also. So that's why this problem is particularly a class of multi-label product classification. So here in this, I will be going you through the approach that I have built and the complete solution that I have built for this solving this particular problem. So here in this, let's say what will be the text, what I have, the solution is part of the GitHub repo that I have built. And this is let's say what we should be the expected scenario is that if a sentence is coming, how much is the engine displacement? Then the predicted label should be like this, engine displacement. And what is the fuel tank capacity? So it should be fuel capacity. If we want to know about, in the third case scenario, it should be engine displacement and the fuel capacity. And let me walk you through the data set first. So here, if I just say, this is the particularly intent or the particular product segment that we want, and this is a short text or the message. And if I just wanted to data and then filter, so here I can see that there are almost count of, if I can just find it out, it will be 55 are the product segments which are present. If I just find it out through various things. So here, and we have the 915 number of data samples for this particular data set. So here the text can be in the form of English or the English sentence. That is like it's a switchable apps and kya ye switchable apps hai. So it's a kind of a English text. So here the approach would be that first of all, I'm in this I'm just importing the required libraries, and then after that I'm just doing the extrapolatory and data analysis to find out the particular what are the number of to understand more about the data. So here the number of rows are 915, the number of columns are 2, and if I just find it out, the number of and value counts for each of those product segments, it will be 35. Then for the Ducati, it is 32, and likewise for the others. And if I just find it out, the number of the number of unique product segments, it will be like it will be 55. So the number of product segments that I have is 55. And then I'm just finding out the skew plot, the plot, bar plot for each of those product segments with the frequency of the number of text that it has. So observation is that the number of text that we are having for a particular text is very less. For new design, it's just 35. For Ducati, it's 32, and likewise. So number of text is very less. The message was also the number of sentence was also very less. Basically, number of word tokens per text was also very less. So these are the shortcomings or the challenges that I'm going to face. That is, I have found it out that the average word count is basically 4.7. So almost approximately 5 words per text message. So in this first stage, I will be doing the data processing, and here I'll be removing all the backslash and then the removing all the alphabets which are except alphabets, and then removing the unnecessary white spaces, and then converting all them into the one case, that is the lowercase. After that, I'll be using the TF-IDF vectorizer to basically to extract the feature out of the from the particular text. And for the TF-IDF, basically what it is, it's the term frequency. It's a product of the term frequency multiplied by the inverse document frequency. So it generates the features for the rarer words in a much better representations, because the IDF vector is basically managing or the inversing the impact of the term frequency. So I hope so in the next so here, as it's a multi-class classification, I'll be just doing the y is equal to multi-label fit transform data intent. So it will be basically doing the one hot encoding of those y labels, because earlier it was into the it will be one of those particular 55 classes, and now it will be y will be labeled as, for example, if it is a April, so it will be uh, transformed into a shape or the row vector which will be 1 into 55, and the value would be 1 0 0 0 to till 55, and likewise headlamps will be 0 1 0 0 0 till 55, and likewise apps will be 0 0 1, and likewise that. So here after that, I'm just using this using the TF-IDF vectorizer. The number of max features has been 1500. That is a top 1500 the words needed to be identified, and the n-gram ranges unigram, bigram, and trigram, and the stop words have been removed. So and this TF-IDF object has been run on that data message. So that is the column for the which is including the text message. Okay, so in the next stage, I am experimenting with the three types of classifiers: SGT classifier, second is the SVM with the linear kernel, and third is the decision tree. So here in the, I'm just splitting it out into the training and the testing split with a test size of 60-40%. And mm, and this is the training script for, and the matrix that I'm using is basically exact match ratio. That is to find out the exact match is present between the user and this thing. And second, the Hamming loss. And then after that, we have the precision and the F1 measure. So for each of those classifiers, the matrix that I have obtained is like this, and which is like F1 measure, it is contributing to the 73.84. And so we are getting the better F1 score matrix for SGT classifier and the decision tree classifiers. After that, I want to hyperparameter tune it for the decision tree, because a decision tree is giving us a somewhat better F1 score measures. So that's why I'm just hyperparameter tuning it for its various types of matrix, and using the one versus risk classifier on the decision tree, because multi-label classification is being trained as such. Will be done like that. That for each of those classifiers, there will be we will be designing it into the binary classification problem, which will be one that corresponds to the A class, and second class will be that which doesn't belong to that A class. So, and then using the grid search cross-validation approach to finding out the optimum parameters for a decision tree. And this is the code for it, and then I have trained it, so it will basically walk through all the parameters or the hyperparameters which, and walk through each of those and finding out the best parameters for which the mean squared error will be the very least. So after executing it, we get the basically the best matrix to be like this. max depth, none, and the max features, max leaf nodes, and the minimum leaf samples leaf, and the estimated splitter. So after using max depth, that is the depth of the tree, max features, the number of basically the features types that we are going to use, and the leaf nodes is a number of leaf nodes that should be there in the tree, and the minimum samples leaf is the minimum number of samples which should be present in the particular tree, uh, uh, particular leaf to split it. And here it's the estimator slipper is the best, so it's the matrix. So after basically applying the best metric, I've just found out the best F1 score measure that was found. And after training those results, so it will be F1 measure is coming out to be 75.48, which is 2% better than the previous approach. After hyperparameter tuning, it is giving out better results than the 2% more than the previous one. Earlier it was 73.84, and now it is coming out to be 75.48. After that, I am finding out the classification report for each of those corresponding 55 product segments. And so this is the basically the class-wise F1 score approach, and support is finding out the number of support is basically meaning of the number of the frequency of the number of text that we are having in the test data. For the apps, we are having 6. For, as you can see, that the F1 score is basically comparatively higher for the data samples for which we have having the higher support. Like here, this F1 score is 0.83 competition. So it has been, so as we have the higher number of data samples. So if we are in future, if we get a more number of data samples, so then it could the F1 measure would be much better if using this approach. Likewise, if the support for each of those classes would have been much higher, though, then it could the F1 score could be 83, and likewise for the apps also. And so after that, let's say basically after the model is trained, just try to predict it out on the normal sample text and what happens after the result. So as you can see that here I'm predicting out using that same model that I've been using, basically trained, and after training it, the optimum model, the results is like this. I hope the video I could basically clear out solving a problem statement using this approach, and the other advanced approaches that we can use. This was a normal approach which to a well-known problem, which can be solved using the simple approach, simple feature extraction based approaches like TF-IDF. Other approaches we can use basically TFI with BERT embedding transformer based approaches, or we can use LSTMs for, and for the embedding techniques we can use a glove or the BERT pre-trained embeddings we can use. But for that we were having actually very less number of text, so that's why we didn't proceeded with that. And this was a baseline approach, or the baseline method that we have uh, results that we have found it out. So I hope it would be clear. So thanks for this. Thanks, Anand.